We welcome one of my favorites, Robert Hilliard Patillo. It's always good to see you, Robert, civil rights attorney and radio host, and Victoria Churchill, conservative writer, editor, commentator, speaker for Young Voices. We welcome you both to the platform. Well, Jim Jordan on Thursday announced that he will no longer seek the Speaker of the House. The Democrats, along with Hakeem Jeffries, have signaled that they will give Patrick McHenry, who is the pro tempore of the House now, more powers. And my assumption, Victoria, if they're going to give him more powers, there's just no way in the next month, a few weeks, that we're going to have another vote on a Speaker of the House. They're going to eventually make him Speaker of the House because the Democrats have made it clear, based on what their minority leader said, this is someone they can work with. But they said under no conditions would they have worked with Jim Jordan.
Absolutely. I mean, what we've seen from Washington this week is an absolute mess, and it's made it so that we as a nation cannot respond to the needs of some of our greatest allies. You know, the crisis in Israel and in Gaza. The U.S. has ended up on the back foot, partially because of everything that is going on Capitol Hill. You know, I want to say that I believe that the response from the Biden administration has been weak. But obviously we have three branches of government. The legislative branch can't put pressure on the executive branch to do more to our #1 ally in the Middle East when there is such dysfunction within the halls of Congress.
You know, Victoria, it was stated this week in terms of the economy that the inflation numbers were manipulated, and it's much higher and much more devastating than what many Americans were led to believe.
You know, I think that no matter what the numbers say, it's all about how people feel. They're looking at gas, which has doubled. They're looking at interest rates that have tripled for something like a mortgage. Their credit card bills get higher and higher every single month. So I think no matter what top-line analysts believe, this is an issue that is at the dinner table of every single person in America. Every time they wake up in the morning, they pull out their phone, they check their bank account, their check gets deposited. It's basically disappeared because of the effects of inflation that we are seeing. And this is an issue that is top of mind for most voters. In polling, this issue is split up. Typically, jobs in the economy and then inflation are kind of sussed out as separate things that people are asked about. But if you take those two together, those are issue #1 and #2 on the minds of the American voters. And I think as they go to make electoral decisions, whether that's here in Virginia in the next few months, whether that's next year for the Senate, for the House, for the presidency, voters want an out, and they want somebody in power that is going to stem the flow of everything that they are bleeding, right? Their bank accounts are bleeding. The amount of excess money that people have in reserves is at historic lows, and there is nothing. People are looking for a way out. They're looking for a lifeline, and so I think that's going to impact their electoral decisions moving forward.
But the problem, Victoria, is, yes, they are standing up for the Palestinians, and he says they're not pro-Hamas, but they're saying nothing about the number of Jews and others who died in Israel. It's one thing if you can balance it. I say, yes, I support Palestine, but what about the innocent Jews who lost their lives simply because they're Israelis?
All blood that has been shed in the Middle East, whether that's within Palestine or within Israel, is squarely upon the hands of Hamas. And the statements that some of these organizations on college campuses have put out do the complete opposite. They put the complete blame on Israel. And that is just a very, very niche ideology that is being spread in institutions such as the media and on college campuses, elite institutions that do not reflect the views of the majority of Americans. Polling came out just this week saying that over 70% of Democrats, over 80% of Republicans, and over 70% of independents believe in Israel's right to exist and defend itself against instances of terror, and that is exactly what Israel is doing. Hamas is a bad actor. They are not representative of the Palestinian people, but none of these groups are condemning them. And so what we are asking is for these people to condemn them, because all of the bloodshed is squarely on their hands. As your previous guest mentioned, if the Palestinian people, if Hamas, not the Palestinian people, those are two very different organizations, groups of people. Hamas is an extremist actor within their own government, and they are the government within Gaza, but they are not even the government within the majority of Palestine, including the West Bank. That is President Abbas, who is the leader that is internationally recognized. But what we see here by these people that are going out making these statements is an embrace of a very fringe ideology that is not embraced by a majority of Americans, or really a plurality of Americans, or of people within Israel. Israel, even though it is founded as a Jewish state, it is a home to Muslims, Christians, Arabs, and all of those ideologies are kind of cross-pollinating, right? You have Israeli Muslims, you have Arab Israelis that practice a variety of different religions. There was a photo that I saw that really kind of showed exactly how advanced and multicultural Israel is as a nation, is that there was IDF soldiers, one of them was praying with a Star of David, and one of them was praying with a Muslim prayer mat.
You know, that's some very good insights, Victoria.